All right, welcome back. I'm Adam.
I'm Tony.
Tony, we are in that kind of time in the off season where the NFL took up the draft. We talked a lot about the draft, and their schedule release is coming up. But now we're in that spot where like everybody's just wanting football now, and like what do we do to pass our time?
Right. So we're in this moment where, okay, we know who got drafted. We're starting to see schedules come out for especially college and stuff like that. So now we're like starting to get a little bit excited, even though we're still like a couple of months away in all reality. I mean, the UFL is out there, but the only thing I can tell you is Bob Stoops is coaching one of the teams. I haven't been following it. I have turned it on. I have watched it. It's football, but I think what the UFL is missing is a face, a name. Before the stands are not packed at those games. So we're all just kind of sitting around waiting for NFL and college football to start.
So I know like when some of these other leagues, like when they did, NFL Europe and stuff like that, and the Canadian Football League, there was more players. And the Canadian Football League has a bunch of like weird rules. So like there's some novelty to that. But it's also in Canada where Canada doesn't have teams. So like I think they like those teams and they show up for those teams more. True. All they have is hockey up there. Right. I mean, they have more than that. I get it, but like as far as sports goes, I mean, I know they got a couple or they have one baseball team in Toronto, but they kind of get in that. When it was in NFL Europe, you were getting NFL players playing in Europe. True. Some of those things. Can the UFL become a little bit more like as like a minor league, and drive that? But I don't think they have no association with the NFL, so it's like I don't know what their shtick is to like get people to want to watch it.
Well, I get that they're scheduling it during the right time.
Right.
When
correct.
NFL and college are done, so people are wanting football, but you're right, they don't have like a gimmick or they don't have something that says, man, I really want to go watch that game. I want to turn it on. I want to pay to go watch it because they don't have the names. Mm-hmm. But I think you made a good point. Could it turn into a minor league type system where you could see some college guys who maybe didn't get drafted that you recognize from your favorite college team that have a chance to play for a couple years and earn a spot on an NFL roster? I think that would drive more viewership, but they just don't have the face. They don't have a guy.
Can't they get guys, and this would have to be like I said, like a partnership with the NFL where like those guys that are in the practice squad, like, here, you go play here. Get some exposure. Yeah. We still have your rights to you. Right. So you still come to us. But now they're playing and getting that little bit more game exposure because those guys are playing in the practice squad. I mean, they get the practice, but they're not playing in the games or anything like that. But obviously right now, because they're attached to the NFL, they're not playing in the UFL. Correct. And but the NFL is such a giant, and they've been very reluctant to do anything with any other leagues. So I don't see that happening, but that's the thing that I think the UFL would need. Get those practice players, and if you're a practice player, take that opportunity to get that game time. Yeah,
because when you're on the practice squad, you're not getting the reps.
No.
You're not getting a lot of reps. You have to make the most of your reps on the practice squad. Maybe hope for somebody to, retire or unfortunately get injured or something like that before you get an opportunity. But I think you're right. The NFL is a beast. It's a monster. It's a business. It's successful. Yep. So if it's not broke, don't fix it. Why would the NFL try to do anything like this, even though as a fan, we want football during this time? We have some sort of football, but it's just not entertaining enough, or it's not big enough for us to get excited about.
Right. I mean, I know one quarterback that is available for the UFL to play right now.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is still unsigned. Aaron Rodgers. Maybe he can go join the Browns. Well, I've heard they need a quarterback.
They don't have any quarterbacks over there, do they? Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is still unsigned. There was some people that did get signed at the time. I know there was some undrafted free agents, but there wasn't a lot of big names. I know the one name that I was paying attention to is Donovan Edwards, a running back for Michigan. And it's one of those where it's almost like if he would have come out a year earlier, he might have got drafted, but then he went back for his senior year. Obviously, they thought that he was going to be really good, and he has showed flashes at times, but he did not have the year that most people thought he was going to have. And he ended up going undrafted. He goes to the Jets. I think he has a possibility of being a guy that could be successful.
Yeah, for sure.
He's not going to be a star, but he's got talent. I think Michigan didn't use him. He's such a good receiver out of the backfield. Use that type of thing and make him more of like a type of receiver than you can, I'm not comparing him to Debo, but make him like a Debo where you put him in the backfield a little bit, make him a receiver.
Do something else.
He's not as good as Debo. I'm not trying to put him even close to the same level, but he's that type of guy.
Yeah, and I think Edwards is a great example of someone that could benefit from like a UFL type situation that we're just talking about. I think he's a talented guy, and you bring up a good point. If he would have maybe left the year after the national title game, because he had a great postseason, not just the national championship game, but the game before. Like he was almost maybe more important than Blake Corum during the that playoff run. I mean, maybe you'd agree with me or not, but I feel like I remember his big runs.
It was in the Washington game.
His big runs were like deal breakers, game changer type stuff. If he would have come out there, he probably would have got drafted. And unfortunately, he didn't get drafted. But he's with the Jets. I think he's going to be just fine. He's going to be able to play. Some other guys, DJ U, we can't pronounce his last name. Chargers picked him up. I know you have an issue with that. You want to talk about that?
How did this guy get picked? Like, what do they see in him? Like, why do teams keep taking a chance? Like, he was not good with Florida State. He was not good with Oregon State. And he was, Clemson. What did I say first? Florida State. Florida State was the last one.
Later, yeah.
They won one game last year. Now, I get it. He was out. But they weren't winning them with him there. No. The Oregon State was okay, but they had another guy there too. And Clemson won in spite of him, I think.
Right.
Like, he got replaced. Like, what do you see in this guy? And he might be the best dude in the world. I'm not attacking anything about him as a person. His play on the field has not been good. What do they think there's no way he makes a team. I mean, none. Zero. I mean, the only thing he can do is be a practice squad. That's a guy that would have a better shot to go to UFL. Yes. Hey, prove yourself there.
Right.
He's like,
You're confused.
I'm very confused. I don't get it at all.
I think we brought this up when he kept transferring teams. I think physically he looks the part. He has those intangibles of a quarterback that looks like on paper he is like great quarterback material on paper, and he's got all the stats as far as physical stats, but it just has not translated to the field in 3 different places. But the Chargers, your boy Jim Harbaugh, can he work with this guy? Can he work with him? Can he sit behind Justin Herbert and maybe learn some things in 3, 4, 5 years? Because Herbert, let's be honest, he's not young anymore, but he's kind of in that middle ground where he might only have a few more good years left. Jim Harbaugh seems to do wonders for quarterbacks.
Not him.
No, you have no confidence in this guy.
Like, listen, Jim Harbaugh, yes, he's done very good with quarterbacks. He did good stuff with Michigan's quarterback. He did great with Andrew Luck when he was in Stanford.
Yep.
He got Colin Kaepernick to play well.
Correct.
No.
DJ's not the guy.
No.
Okay.
I'm not even. Okay. I don't even entertain this anymore. So we talked about Donovan Edwards could have made more money coming out of Michigan after his junior year instead of going back for his senior year. I saw somewhere where on the complete flip side, Quinn Ewers turned down like a $5 million deal to go transfer somewhere. I don't forget who it was. I don't know if it was Notre Dame or whatever. Yeah. And he signed a rookie contract for like $1 million. So like Ewers would have made more money staying in the college football. And his slide, like, do you think Ewers made a mistake not taking that money?
Well, I think there's 2 parts to this. Number one, I think we can talk about is the NIL money getting out of control to the point of, and I think Nico, the quarterback from Tennessee, kind of showed that a little bit. So we can talk about that. But like, he only has so many more options. He kind of was banged up all year. Like, let's say he goes and takes that money and gets hurt. Yes, he has that money, but he's probably not playing in the NFL. So like, there's that. But that's the other thing. Do you go get and make your money in college? Because playing in the NFL is very difficult.
Yes.
And to make money in the NFL is very difficult because you got guys like Brock Purdy making less money and he played in a Super Bowl than guys like Arch Manning and those guys. So there's 2 sides to this. Is the NIL money getting too much? Because
I'll answer that. Yes.
It's more than NFL quarterbacks.
Right.
Some of those NFL quarterbacks are making, but I don't blame guys for trying to get the money while they can because their future is not guaranteed.
Listen, if you or I were playing college football, college baseball, basketball, we did play college baseball, and NIL is available, I'm going to go get, like, if they're offering me $2 million, I'm taking it, I'm not feeling bad about it.
Absolutely.
None of these kids should feel bad about it. They're offering that money, and they're doing it legally. They should not feel bad about it at all.
Correct.
I mean, take the money.
Get your money.
Get your money. I would. Nothing is guaranteed, especially in sports. We've seen it time and time again. I mean, we've talked about this. I mean, the big what ifs. What if Bo Jackson, made it longer? What if like all these people, just other guys that got hurt really early in their careers. Like, you don't know when you're going to get hurt. You could be in tip-top shape, the thing in your life, and one hit can knock you out. I mean, look at the hit that like Alex Smith took. You know what I'm saying? He played a little bit afterwards, but that really changed the same. And again, he played longer than that, but that hit could have happened in his first year. Right. You don't know. Yep. You don't know. I mean, the kid from Rutgers that unfortunately got paralyzed from the neck down. I hate that happened. You just don't know. So go get your money. Go get your money when you can. I don't fault the kids for doing it. I do think the money's out of control,
Correct.
but that has nothing to do with the kids.
Right.
Now, the way Nico acted about it, that's different.
Yes.
But go get your money in the right way. Don't hold up the school and be like, well, I shouldn't get this because this. You're still getting money and you're still playing a sport in college. You're still an amateur.
Correct.
So there's that difference there. But yeah, go get your money the right way.
And I think that NIL stuff, I think, has to change, and it will change. The Nico situation, he was trying to negotiate more money. Tennessee said, not happening. See you later. He goes to UCLA and gets less money, which I think is good to set that standard that you can't just use these as bargaining tools. This isn't the NFL. Yep. It's not like that. But the NIL needs to come out and say, or somebody, whoever's running this thing needs to say, we got to put some sort of cap on this because we got college players like Arch Manning. I get he's a great talent. He's making more money than starting NFL quarterbacks.
Yeah, right,
I mean, has to be, we have to separate the professionals who are doing this for a living and, like you said, the amateur guys at college. So if we can get some regulations around how much money they're making, I mean, this is good stuff to talk about.
Right. Oh, yeah.
But Quinn,
yes, there's a lot to talk about.
Right. But if you're Quinn Ewers, you're stuck in that situation where do I go to college for another year, take my money, and risk never playing in the NFL, or do I get drafted, which he did. It was late rounds, but he got drafted and he has an opportunity to play in the NFL.
That's the thing. It's the in between of okay,
that's your goal.
What's your goal?
Yeah.
If your goal is to play in the NFL, I get it. I mean, he could have made more money, but at the same time, now, I don't know how old he is right now, but he's obviously older. He's been in college for 4 years. Yeah. This would have been, I think, 5 years. So, yeah, I think that, now you become that older guy that maybe they don't want to draft,
Right.
But he would have got his money. So I guess it depends. And it ended up being, I think he got drafted in about the best situation.
I think
now, Tua, obviously, when he's playing well, plays very well. But he's been prone to injuries. I hope he doesn't get injured.
Exactly.
But he has bbeen prone to injuries. So Ewers, we talked about this, could play a lot earlier than we think he's going to play because Tua is one hit away from, like you said, maybe being done.
Right. Yeah. And if you're Quinn Ewers and you're looking at the Dolphins and obviously you don't want any guys to get hurt.
Correct.
But it has to be on your mind that, man, Tua right now is really on thin ice, especially with that concussion stuff. They're not taking any chances with that. So this could be a situation where Quinn Ewers is going to see some reps, maybe in practice too. He's going to see some more reps in practice because they have to take all these precautions because Tua has proven he is not durable for whatever reason, whether it's the offensive line or maybe it's just once you have those type of injuries, it's easier to get them over and over again. So, we've seen situations where one rough play can take your backup quarterback and make them a star. I mean, Tom Brady sitting behind Drew Bledsoe. Drew Bledsoe got hurt.
Absolutely annihilated by a New York Jets.
The rest is history.
Yeah. It's like you said, we are never rooting for anybody to get hurt at all.
No.
But Ewers is in a situation where he's got weapons. He's got a ton of weapons.
For sure.
I mean, he's got Achane in the backfield, and then he's got Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, and then the tight end for them played really well last year. I don't know if he's still there, but he's got weapons.
Yep.
So he's really close to being able, maybe play. And I think it's a good situation for him because he could have been in other situations where, one, he's not going to play at all. Like if he's stuck behind Patrick Mahomes or something like that, you're not going to play.
You're not going anywhere.
Or something like that. But you know what? It's going to be that debate. I do think the NIL, they have to come up with some sort of salary cap because you just get some of these guys, these oil guys, these billionaires, I mean.
They'll throw all the money.
I mean, they just throw a ton of money. Like we talked about, if Bill Gates ever wanted to back up a football team, he's not going to.
No.
But if he ever wanted to, how do you compete with that? How do you compete with, Warren Buffett or something like that? You can't compete with that. You got these teams that have so much money.
Right.
And I'm not saying the mid-major teams have to have as much, same amount of money, but all the major teams, like the FBA, the Power Four, they should all be able to have similar amount of money.
Certainly, right.
Because you think about it, Michigan and even Arkansas with the oil money, Bama, those teams, Georgia, have a ton of money.
Yes. Boosters.
You think Northwestern has a ton of money to pay for football?
No, not really.
You know what I'm saying? You get some of these Vanderbilt, they're more concerned about their school and their academics, which is fine. It's perfectly fine. they don't have the same amount of money. Something's got to be done to make it a little bit more even to play the field.
Yeah, because it's hard to compete with the top level recruits, and I'll bring up SMU because there's a ton of oil money down there at SMU. So you're going to see SMU, and it's already started, and we brought it up before. They made a playoff run this year, right? They look pretty good. How did they do that? Because they have guys that live down there in Texas with a ton of oil money. Now they can actually give that money to these players. And I'm telling you right now, and you're going to agree with me, if you or I had Elon Musk, Bill Gates type money, Oklahoma and Michigan, we would be helping them get recruits because that's our favorite team. And this guy is looking for this amount of money. Here you go. If you have that kind of money, the NIL money is nothing to you at that time. You're going to get your teams to play better.
I mean, you think about this. First of all, Elon Musk and I don't forget about what you think about him is making hand over
talk about
money.
His money.
You know, Bill Gates is still making money. And they have they're billionaires. They are billionaires. I mean, people talk about this all the time. Is they're like, well, a million, but it's like something like if a million seconds is like I don't know how many days.
11
a billion seconds is like 11 years. Like I mean, it's the huge. I know I'm making it a little bit, but it's a huge difference. Like them giving out millions of dollars per year to a team is nothing. It is nothing. They make more than that, like probably in a month. Like so, like for them to put that money out for the school is nothing. And you're right. If I was a billionaire and I wanted Michigan to be good, I'm dumping money.
How much you need? What do you need? Money.
And hell, you could probably write it off.
It could be some sort of a charitable donation or something. They could find a way. So to go back on your million seconds. A million seconds is 11 and a half days.
Okay, so we were right with 11.
A billion seconds is approximately 31 years.
Oh, it's 31 years.
31 years to 11 days. The comprehension of how much a billion is absolutely ridiculous.
That's just 1 billion.
That's just 1 billion.
And they have multiple billions.
Elon's worth 360 billion. Now I get that's with all his assets and everything like that. But yes, go back to if you or I had billions of dollars and I'm calling up Brent Venables and going, who do you need?
Yeah.
What guy do you want?
Yeah.
Who are we missing out on that I can help get to the program? Because I want to see my Oklahoma Sooners doing it. Even though it's legal, there has to be some sort of fairness involved here. Because like the 12-team playoff was created so we could have a little bit more diversity and not the same 5 or 6 teams every single year. But now with the NIL in here, the rich teams seem to get richer with the players.
I'm telling you what, Michigan would know my name. If I was a billionaire, Michigan would know my name. Something would be named after me.
Monument would be named after me for sure.
And neither one of us went to those schools. We just really
fans
backed them up. But I don't care. Like there'd be a building named after me. Like I'd be like, this is like the football field is now the Big House by Adam Childs. Like you know what I'm saying?
Adam Childs Field.
My name on there. And they're like, what did he do? I don't know. He gave me $1 billion.
A bunch of money.
Yeah. But it's the truth. Like you get that. I mean, it's the same thing. Like Oregon was doing the NIL, not really because they weren't paying players at an earlier level because Phil Knight decided, you know what, I want Oregon to be good. I'm going to pump all this money into the school and their uniforms and stuff like that. That was the earliest version of this NIL type of stuff because it started pumping money. Because at the same time, going back, I mean, as cool as that with the little Donald Duck coming through, it was awesome. That logo was amazing.
You love that.
Who wanted to go to Oregon? Like, who wants to go to Oregon? I mean, it's got very cool, landscape and stuff like that. Like, if you want to, but even then, like, if you think about where you want to vacation, it's not Oregon.
No, Eugene, Oregon's on my list.
It's not on your list. But you pump all that money, you get those cool uniforms, which you hate or like it. I love them personally.
You're a big uniform guy, and you like green.
I do like green. It helps. They do get a little crazy with some of theirs, but they do a really good job with their uniforms. And they got people wanting to come to Oregon, and that's how Phil Knight started to make Oregon relevant.
Yeah.
And now this NIL is making some teams relevant, like SMU, like we talked about.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit older than you, not that much. But growing up in the 80s and the 90s, Oregon was not really a factor.
No,
it was the Miamis, the Nebraska, the Oklahomas. I mean, Michigan, Ohio State's like still your big names in there. Oregon was not really a factor, and then all of a sudden you see, hey, Phil Knight throwing some money up there, changing some uniforms, developing a culture around this stuff, and people want to go there. And a guy I worked with up in Nebraska, he played for Nebraska Cornhuskers football, and his son, of course, a great athlete coming up, and I'm asking, where's your son going to go? This is years ago, 10, 11, 12 years ago. And he said, well, maybe he's going to go run track and field at Arkansas, but he actually really likes Oregon because of the uniforms.
Yeah.
So the uniforms, as much as you don't want to believe it, the kids look at that stuff. They want to look good. They want to have all those options out there. So that's a huge recruiting tool. Now, obviously, it's changed a little bit because everybody can pay money.
I mean, think about this: when kids play video games now, and they're playing Madden or they're playing college football, what do you do for 5 minutes before the game starts? You go through the uniform combinations.
Yep,
you do it all the time.
Yep.
What uniform do you want to wear?
Yep.
And it's like, okay, well, if I wear this one, if I play them again, like I have played with Oregon. Like after I get through my Michigan time, I played with Oregon just so I can switch up the uniforms and play a bunch of uniforms because it's a ton. I mean, you do. I mean, it's the same thing. The NFL's now finally figured it out because for the longest time they had the one cap rule. Like you could only wear one cap. Now you could take your logo off and have the same color, or you could put a different logo on that same color, but it kind of limited things. And now they went to 2, and now I heard this year they're to 3.
Okay, interesting.
They know what I'm surprised it took them this long to like agree to that because now teams can have, because before they were just going to the retro uniforms so they could kind of have the same helmet. Like now they're going to these alternate uniforms, and I mean a lot of them are pretty cool.
People like it.
And some of them are going back to their retro, which I mean we could go through the teams that should go back to the retro. You know what? Let's just do this. The Eagles should. They should 100% go back to that Kelly Green.
Broncos.
The Broncos should go back to that orange crush and the blue. I know you hate the Broncos, but that blue helmet with the D with the Bronco coming out of it, that was awesome. The Seahawks, get rid of that crap and go back to that blue and the gray helmet. That's what they need to do. The Buccaneers, I know. But it's
let them
stand out. Yeah,
okay, the creamsicles.
And look, you didn't.
Yeah,
it was awesome. The Titans need to just go and become the Oilers again and go back to that baby blue.
Oh my gosh, I missed that.
That's great. The Patriots need to go back to the hiking Patriot on their helmet.
On the helmet for sure.
That one's awesome. And I thought there was.
Is this us just being old?
It is a little bit. But those uniforms are cool. Like when they come back, people want to see those uniforms.
Correct.
But then some of the newer ones were kind of cool. Like I'm not a red guy or blue, but like the Texans kind of went to that red, and that looked kind of cool. I wish the Bears have gone to the all orange. I want the Bears to come out with a white helmet.
I think
that helmet would look cool. And I know the Bears are traditional, and I love their traditional uniforms. So they need to go back to like old school. But if they came out with a white helmet, that would look good.
And I think there's certain teams that you don't mess with
as much.
I would agree. I don't want to mess with the Chicago Bears.
Right.
The helmet is. It's just. It brings back mid 80s, like when you grow up with the Bears. That's what reminds me of it. My Raiders. Don't touch that helmet.
Your Raiders need to go back to the gray numbers.
You like the gray numbers.
On the black instead of the white. That looks good. You can't tell me that doesn't look good.
You text me every time they wear it, and I'm like, yes, you're right. It looks good. But you don't mess with that helmet. You don't mess with the Packers helmet. The Steelers helmet, don't mess with that because sometimes they go way back in the Steelers uniforms.
Oh my God, the bumblebees.
Get a little crazy. Yeah, it's a little bit too much. Vikings, don't mess with the Vikings. There's just certain teams you don't mess with. The Chiefs, don't mess with the Chiefs. The Jets, I mean...
They can't figure out what they want.
They don't know what they want over there.
They go back from where it says Jets on it to that old school white helmet, and then they go back to where it says the Jets. I don't know.
The Colts can do whatever they want. I don't really care either way on that. But there's certain teams you don't mess with. But I do hate the Broncos. But when you bring up uniforms, that's the first one that comes to mind. Give me that orange helmet with the
blue helmet.
The blue helmet with the orange D and the Bronco on there and all that stuff. Love that.
But the best uniforms, besides maybe the classic in NFL, and I know, is the Chargers baby blue uniforms. With the yellow pants, those are awesome.
You can't go wrong with the baby blue. Yeah,
like they did a good job of going away for that navy blue and going back to that. Listen, those are the best. I'm a sucker for baby blue.
Oh, 100%.
I think it looks great on uniforms. But yeah, you get those uniforms and you get people to pay attention because they want to know what uniforms, and it drives merchandise sales. Like you get it. It's the same thing Major League Baseball is doing it right now. I think the NBA has gone a little far because it seems like they got a different uniform every time they come out.
That's true.
But baseball with the City Connect, some of them are good, some of them are really bad. But it's all about merchandise sales and getting eyes on your team.
Yeah, and that's where Oregon has been the most successful in recent memory doing that. And I get there's teams like Alabama and Penn State and Notre Dame that are they're kind of limited because they're going to stick with the traditional stuff. And Oregon didn't have that big time college tradition. So they had this open landscape that they can kind of do whatever they want. But it got recruits. Like they had some serious players back in early 2000s and stuff like that. And they were a disaster to deal with. Like they looked good, they played good, and they were winning football games left and right. So recruiting has changed. NIL probably need to, get these. You just need to calm down a little bit with the amount of money because it's not stopping.
Yeah.
If you think it's going down, it's not going down. It's not going to stay the same. It's only going to increase, and you're going to see teams with money. All right. start winning and teams without money,
Yeah.
we're gonna be back in the same old problem.
Yeah, and it goes to the whole and the transfer thing. We can talk about that too. Like I just saw somebody rank the top quarterbacks in Big Ten this year, and Michigan's gonna have Bryce Underwood from high school, but
right.
almost every one of them was in a different uniform last year.
Really?
Like almost every one of them.
That's not
I think Drew Aller, Penn State, is still at Penn State.
Yep.
The Aiden Childs kid from Michigan State still at Michigan State. Aileen Kamakis or something like that is I butchered his name.
Right,
I apologize. He's at Rutgers, but the thing is, he started in Minnesota. All these other guys are like, it's a different team, transferring in. Like Purdue's quarterbacks from Arkansas. Like some of these guys are just UCLA's quarterback is now Nico, and he came from Tennessee.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, his younger brother committed to UCLA and then spurned them to go to Arkansas. And then when Nico went to UCLA, he spurned Arkansas's going back to UCLA.
Right. So like Tennessee and UCLA are just switching quarterbacks.
Oh yeah, and then the UCLA quarterback went to Tennessee.
So what are we doing out here? Like this is getting so hard.
Are there cash considerations too?
Well, it makes you wonder, right? How much is he getting paid to go to
basically
Tennessee?
they traded quarterbacks. They literally did.
That's all they did. It was like an NFL deal. We'll give you our quarterback, you give us.
And apparently the UCLA quarterback had come from somewhere else, and then he was like, oh wait, no,
Tennessee's open.
Yeah, Tennessee's open. I'm going.
So the transfer portal has to be, what do we say, one or two, depending on.
I think you should be able to transfer one time.
Among other circumstances, possibly.
And if your quarterback leaves, if your coach leaves, then I think you should be open to leave.
Okay, that's one of the exceptions.
But like one time on your own for no reason,
right? And then
besides the fact that you just want more money or play time.
Well, and that's the thing, because now we're going to see negotiations. But hopefully Tennessee shut that negotiation thing down. NIL can come in and say, here's a cap. We got to have a salary cap, basically.
Yeah.
That says you cannot pay a player, all right, more than this X amount of dollars because he's making more than NFL guys. And like I said, we both agree, go get your money. So we're not faulting you for that, but we're faulting the system that needs to be changed, or otherwise it's gonna get out of control.
I mean, you really think about it too, and like Nico, there was rumors out there that he borderline didn't play. He was going to sit out the playoff game.
Or the playoff game, yeah.
Because his contract only scheduled him for 12 games.
That ridiculous.
Absolutely like, what are we doing? Like at that point, like, is there really a contract that's just for so many games, or is it for the season? Because that's the other thing. Like, it should be for the season. Like what are we doing? Like, what are we really doing?
What are you? Are you here to make money? Are you here to play for your school? I mean, these are all reasons Nick Saban quit coaching.
Correct.
Because he's all about, you come to the school, you put your time in, you have loyalty to your coaching staff and your school, and you play for them, and then you possibly go get drafted by the NFL. And that stuff's not happening anymore. You go to this school, you don't like it, you transfer all these other schools, you try to make more money at these other schools. It's turning into a business versus, that's why I always like the NCAA better than the NFL, because it wasn't so much of a business. Right. And I get it. The NCAA is making a ton of money, and the kids should get a little bit of that. But we still got to keep some purity to it, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, it's getting a little wild.
It is a little too much. But you know what? I don't think it's going to change anytime soon.
Yeah, probably not.
But there are some things they need to do. All right. Before we get into, we wanted to look at some of these good games coming up in the first part of the NFL college football
always
season.
A few.
Just want to say this. We don't talk about the NBA on here, obviously, because we're a football podcast. Even when we did more all the sports, we didn't talk about the NBA. But have you ever been more happy about an NBA team getting knocked out of the playoffs than LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers?
Right. So I have a class I teach called, it's a sports marketing type class, and LeBron's the GOAT, and the Lakers are going to win the series. So the Lakers were down, I think 1-0, and then it's Lakers in 5, and then the Lakers are down 3-1. It's Lakers in 7, and then the Lakers lose, and I put on my board Lakers in what, 9? Lakers. I put Lakers in what ? Lakers in 9. Lakers in 2026. Like, what's the? So all these kids were coming up with all these excuses, this and that, whatever. But yes, Lakers are out. LeBron. We are not LeBron fans. He's a talented.
He's very good. He's one of the best NBA players ever.
You and I can
not gonna argue.
We can get in that discussion whether he's the GOAT or not. You and I both believe he's not, but he is one of the best ever. But yes, Lakers are out. That's fine with me. Like I said, I don't watch the NBA, but I was paying attention to those scores.
I don't watch the NBA either. My son does because he likes the Celtics. But yes, like Celtics LeBron being out, like yes, thank you. Yeah. He's gone.
It's his flopping, I think.
It's flopping. It's ridiculous. Like it's just getting bad. It's getting even worse. Yeah. And it's just like, dude, don't do that. Like Oh, and then the other day I was looking at, so they were talking about Charles Barkley when he was with the Suns, thinking he was the best player in the NBA the one year, and he was going to outplay the Bulls.
Right.
And
Well, didn't he get MVP that one year? I think Charles
he did 1 year.
Yeah, over Jordan.
But yeah, well, it's because they didn't want to give Jordan the thing every year.
Yeah.
And Michael Jordan in the one game outscored the Suns, so I went to look, or not the Suns, Barkley, and I went to look at what it was. The Bulls in that playoff game won the playoff game, scored like 90 to 100 points, somewhere in there, and went 3 of 7 from 3-pointers. As a team.
Yeah.
Not Jordan, as a team.
You don't shoot
7 3-pointers, and now teams like the Celtics shoot like 47 a game.
Yeah, it's a different game.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. So that's another reason why we don't watch the NBA. And I know we don't talk about the NBA here, but it's good to celebrate when LeBron gets knocked out because I just
Correct.
like it.
Yep.
So anyways, all right, let's go to college football a little bit here.
We had to get that in there.
We had to get that in there. We don't talk about the NBA, but when we get a chance to rip on LeBron, let's do it.
That was a good turn.
All right, college football starts in August, which I love it, but at the same time, you and I are teachers. We enjoy our summers off.
Right.
We don't get paid during the summer. I like how people think we get paid. I mean, we get paid during the summer. We're not getting paid for work we don't do in the summer.
Correct.
So we'll get off that, but it's still a nice break for us.
For sure. I'm not complaining.
But the good thing about school starting, that means college football is going to start. And apparently there is a preseason game this year in September. Not September, in July.
Okay.
July.
Tell us about it.
I don't know about it. I just heard about it on the radio the other day. So apparently there's a football game in July this year.
Okay. Hey, the earlier the better.
College football starts August 23rd with their week 0. You want to call it week 0. So that first week, Saturday, August 23rd, there's 4 games going on. 3 of them could be interesting. 1 of them, maybe not. Stanford gets to go to Hawaii. Hey, you know what?
Anytime you get
to go to Hawaii, that's
sure.
good. I'm going to Hawaii this summer,
Good.
I'll be right around there. Stanford's going to Hawaii. We have seen Stanford play at UCF, but it's a different team. And now teams have GMs. Like Andrew Luck is the GM of Stanford.
Right.
So what does that really entail?
Here we go.
Like with the NIL, is just because of the NIL stuff?
Well, I mean, this keeps going back to where are we separating the NFL from the college football anymore? Like Andrew Luck's a GM. I mean, what is he responsible for? Like, what are his duties? Is it similar? Like, he's in charge of getting players there. He's in charge of negotiating NIL. I mean, like, what are we doing here? We're getting too much closer to the NFL. There needs to be a separation. Andrew Luck, I feel bad for the guy. I think he's a talented guy. His career was cut short due to injury, he's going back to his alma mater, which he was fantastic at. So I appreciate that, and they're giving him an opportunity to do a job, and maybe that's all it is. Hey, we got to give this guy some sort of something.
Well, and one of his things is they dismissed their coach for some legal reasons or whatever, something like that. I don't want to get into all that. They hired Frank Reich, who used to be the head coach of the Colts and the Panthers, I think. I think he was there when Andrew Luck was there for a little bit.
He played for the Bills.
They hired him as the interim head coach for 2025. 1 year.
Right.
And that's literally what they said. 1 year. Why? Why are we hiring a guy for just 1 year? Not saying Frank Reich shouldn't get the job.
Right.
But
he's qualified.
Doesn't that hurt you when it comes to recruiting?
Has to.
Because who's
our coach?
Is he going to go recruit and be like, well, I'm not going to be here next year, but can you come to Stanford anyways?
Right. What's his motivation? What's the kid's motivation to go
there? No, I mean Reich obviously wants to do very well for them because he needs to kind of repair because he didn't go out in the best ways with the NFL. But what's Stanford really doing with? I don't understand that because they always talk about a coach that's in his last year of his contract and being a dead man walking, and other teams use that against them. Be like,
for sure.
Well, you sure you want it? When they didn't know if Jim Harbaugh was coming back, you sure you want to go to Michigan because Jim Harbaugh might not be there,
right?
What's Stanford doing with that? I don't understand that
There's
at all.
no way this can be a positive recruiting tool for Stanford at all. I mean, you got Andrew Luck there. That's going to help a little bit.
Yeah, but he's not the coach.
No, he's not the coach. So who are the kids going to play for? And how much motivation does Frank Reich have to go recruit a bunch of guys?
If he's only going to be there for 1 year, what's he doing?
Just calling plays?
I mean, I don't think he went to Stanford, so it's not like it's his alma mater where he's like, I need to make sure they're good. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't get that. So but anyways, they go to Hawaii that first week. It's cool. I would go to Hawaii.
That's a fun game.
Yeah, I would love to play in Hawaii. I almost wanted to go play baseball in Hawaii just because it was in Hawaii. You know?
Well, yeah, I go do anything in there.
Another game. Here's the game too. It's a conference game right away. It is the Aer Lingus College Football Classic in Dublin, Ireland. I know last year I think Florida State played Georgia Tech in Ireland and Georgia Tech beat them. This time it's Kansas State and Iowa State. So it's the Big 12, and it's 2 teams that gotta think they have a shot to win the Big 12 this year. We haven't dug into their their rosters at all, but Kansas State, Iowa State played in the Big 12 championship game last year and lost to Arizona State. Kansas State was right there because it was, they were clustered. That should be a good game. Good game out in Ireland on that first Saturday.
Again, a fun trip. How often do you get a chance to go to like a place like Ireland, which I've had several people, family members.
My brother went to Ireland, loved it.
Everyone loves it up there. They say it's fantastic to go there, so it might be on my bucket list too. But these kids get to go experience.
Hawaii's will let us go to that?
No,
one?
absolutely not. Absolutely not. But Hawaii is great. But Ireland, are you kidding me? That's an awesome trip. So it's exciting for those young men to go do that. But Kansas State, Iowa State, you're right. Those are two possible Big 12 contenders battling it out in the first week. I'll watch that game.
Yeah. I'll watch that game. Maybe if we take our wives with us.
Well, they would, maybe.
They'd go to Ireland with us. They can go drink some green beer or whatever they have over there.
We'll go to the Guinness. I don't know if you like Guinness.
I don't like Guinness.
I like Guinness.
I'll drink Harp, the light beer, and
okay,
you can drink Guinness.
I like Guinness,
yeah. I know you do. And you sprinkle like some salt in there or something.
Yeah, sometimes.
All right, Fresno State goes to Kansas. Hey, listen, Fresno State wasn't bad last year. Kansas was not great at the beginning of the year. At the end of the year, they played really well. Yeah. They can score points.
Yeah, for sure. I know they lost some guys, for sure, but they're getting a kid from the high school that I teach at. He's going there, so it'll be interesting to see if he redshirts or if maybe he has a chance to play there at Kansas.
Yep.
So, Fresno State, Kansas, that's not an awful first game either. I mean, there's a couple of good games here that I would definitely turn on and watch because you want to see how that Big 12 is going to play out.
Yeah, and then you got Sam Houston State and Western Kentucky. Okay.
I might skip that one.
It's still a football game. All right.
It's still a football game.
And then the Thursday they come up, and I mean, there's some... there's a bunch of games. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 games.
That's a full roster.
That's a full,
Thursday night.
The biggest game that I see scrolling through this is Nebraska going to Cincinnati.
Yeah, you know that I'm not a pro Nebraska football fan because Nebraska Husker fan is just a little too crazy for me. They have been since I've been alive. So
that's a long time.
Nebraska for someone who just had a birthday. Here we go. It's you. Nebraska going to Cincinnati. Cincinnati's not the same Cincinnati as they were maybe a few years ago. But I still think that's a tough opponent for Nebraska. Nebraska fan is going to live or die on this game because if they beat Cincinnati, Nebraska fan believes that Nebraska is going to win the national title. If they lose, this, Matt Rule's, he could be in trouble. I think this is a year Matt Rule really needs to turn it around or Husker fans going to eat him up.
Yeah. So I said they went to Cincinnati. They're not going to Cincinnati. They're playing Cincinnati, but they're playing at Arrowhead where the Kansas City Chiefs play.
Okay, fair enough.
So, oh my gosh, I just thought about that. Dylan Ariola is going to be
playing on the same field as Patrick Mahomes does.
I mean, gosh. What do they call it? Cosplay when you
dress
act
up as
somebody.
Yep, costume.
There it is, right there. Oh my gosh, he's gonna be in heaven. That's like
they did that.
Tell me they did that on purpose.
100%, 100%. Whoever scheduled this game you got Patrick Mahomes 2.0 playing for Nebraska. Let's schedule this game in Kansas City at Arrowhead so we can have number 15 in a red uniform who plays similar to him out there. Go Bearcats.
Will Patrick Mahomes be at the game?
Gosh, Dylan Rayola loses his mind.
Oh my gosh! Wow, that's a story in of itself right there.
Somebody's either really lucky and did that by accident, or someone's a great marketer, and they're gonna play this because the announcers.
100%.
Because you heard it last year, the announcers would, relate Patrick Mahomes and Dylan Raiola, like their style, their movements, their mannerisms, all that stuff is very similar. So somebody's either a genius or they got really lucky.
He has studied Mahomes to a T.
Gosh.
He knows exactly what he's doing. Yeah. All right, I mean, here's some other games that are going on, just so just to whet your appetite. Elon and Duke, that's a good one.
Get it.
Stephen F. Austin at Houston, UT Martin at Oklahoma State, Stony Brook at San Diego State. I mean, and then let's see here, Central Arkansas at Missouri. So we got that going on. Boise State goes to South Florida.
So that's not bad. I mean, South Florida hasn't been real good, but Boise's obviously lost Ashton Genty. We'll see how they replace him. It's just good to watch these teams to kind of see, is Boise going to make another playoff run? Do they have enough? Or was Ashton Genty a one-man wrecking crew down there, which he definitely was. I'm excited the Raiders have him. But does Boise State still have enough guys to make a run, or are we moving on to the next group of 5 team to show up and surprise somebody?
Yeah. All right, and then on Friday, the next day, we have a good game in Waco, Texas. Auburn goes to Baylor. The SEC and the Big 12, Auburn has been a little bit of a disappointment lately. Baylor's been up and down, but they can score points. Auburn normally has not been able to score points in the last few years.
True.
But, Auburn has a defense. Baylor does not. So what happens in that game?
Well, again, this is going to be SEC versus Big 12, and let's see who. These are kind of like middle of the road teams in both conferences. Like Auburn has the ability; they've been good in the past. Baylor, like you said, can score some points. Who stops who in this game? I think that's going to be the decision maker. But it's always fun to see these SEC versus other conferences.
And it's on the campus. It's not, it's not a neutral site.
I know you love that. I love that as well. The neutral sites things, okay, whatever. But on a college campus makes all the difference.
The other one is Georgia Tech at Colorado. That's interesting. So Georgia Tech last year,
real interesting.
They beat Florida State, which ended up Florida State not being good. But Georgia Tech played almost beat Georgia, should have beat Georgia, and now Colorado, is in their first season without their two retired players in Sugar Sanders and Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
Who is going to play quarterback for them? How good they're going to be? Georgia Tech's not a slouch, and right now I can't believe they have lines on this game already. They have Georgia Tech as a 3.5-point favorite to start with.
And I think that's going to come down to who does Colorado have. Replacing a Travis Hunter and a Sanders, like those are the two big name guys that carried that team. Replacing those guys are huge. Colorado might come out and show you that, hey, we're just going to reload, we're going to keep going, or they might fall off and be like, those were our guys. That's who carried us. I like this game. This is going to be a fun one because, like you said, Georgia Tech wasn't that bad last year. They can surprise some people, but everyone's high on Deion Sanders. Is he getting the recruits, and can he put a team together without his son at quarterback and a great two-way player in Travis Hunter on the other side of the ball? It's going to be tough for Colorado. They're going to really have to show up.
Yeah, and then we get to Saturday. Normally that first Saturday has maybe a game or two, but there's some really good games here. So it starts off, and I'm just going to kind of read through a couple of these. Alabama goes to Florida State.
The names sound better than that game, probably.
LSU plays Clemson at Clemson, so that's on there.
Right.
Tennessee is playing Syracuse. Now that game's in Atlanta. And then Texas goes to Ohio State.
That's a big one.
There's, 1, 2, 3, 4 games that are just, big-time games. Listen, Alabama is slotted at an 11.5-point favorite to start with. Florida State was not good last year, the year after they went undefeated until the bowl game. Listen, I don't know who's going to be the quarterback for Alabama. Does it really matter?
Might not.
I think Alabama wins this game, but I'm glad they're actually going. I know they went to Wisconsin last year, but It's fun that they're actually going to a campus site.
Yeah, I can't imagine Florida State being worse than they were last year.
I hope not.
I think they're going to be better. I can't imagine Bama being as good as they were last year. I think they'll still be a good team. So I think this might meet in the middle somewhere, and I think that 11-point Bama, that's probably about right. I don't think Bama losing the players they did. They still have that wide receiver, Ryan Williams. He's really good. Who's throwing in the ball? They lost some defensive guys. Bama's going to be good again, but I think Florida State, they're not going to be as bad as they were. They're going to compete here.
I hope so.
They have to.
I hope so. LSU going to Clemson, that game really is fun because you know how much I love Brian Kelly.
No.
I don't. And I thought they were overrated all last year. I know their quarterback, threw for Nussmeier, I think his name is. He threw for a ton of yards. I think he's back. Yep. Clemson played a lot better at the end of the year, and they gave, I forget who they played, Texas? Was it Texas? A good game.
Yep.
It's in Death Valley, which both those places are called Death Valley.
And they're both the Tigers.
Yeah, they're both the Tigers. That game right there, I mean, it's awesome that it's in Clemson. SEC, ACC, Clemson. I think LSU needs this game more than Clemson does because Clemson showed last year they lost at Georgia and they could come back and they came through and won the ACC. But that's not going to be an easy game for LSU to go to Clemson and get a win.
No, and Clemson has their quarterback, Cade Klubnik, back. And I bet you he's going to be on some Heisman watch list because I think he's that kind of player. And the LSU quarterback as well. So this is going to be a situation where Clemson had a pretty darn good defense last year. I don't know how much they lost. But this is, again, another fun game, SEC, ACC, to see where these conferences at. These are kind of, I know Clemson's a top-of-the-line team in the ACC. That's not saying a whole lot, unfortunately. But LSU, again, middle-of-the-road SEC. Are they the LSU of a few years ago, or are they starting to fall off, which I know you wish that on Coach Kelly there because
I
you're
do.
not a
I
huge
do.
fan.
I'm not
But I like Dabo, so
I do like Dabo.
I think the Tigers win this. I guarantee the Tigers win.
Wow, that's you jumping
That's
out on a
tough
limb on that one. Yeah.
I like Clemson more now.
Texas goes to Ohio State. Last year they went to Michigan and beat Michigan. Now Michigan wasn't as good. I mean, they were still good enough to beat Ohio State, but
That's all that matters.
they struggled a little bit. Texas goes to Ohio State. Who's the quarterback for Ohio State? Who's the quarter? Well, we know who the quarterback's going to be for Texas.
Yeah.
They have Ohio State as a 3-point favorite to start this. This very interesting. That is, they played in the Final Four. Texas was about ready to score, and then they got that strip sack, and Ohio State won that game 28-14. I think was the final score. So it's a rematch of the Final Four game between Ohio State and Texas. I think Texas is in better shape with Arch Manning as a quarterback, and who knows how Ohio State's going to do. Obviously, they're coming off the national championship.
So I think you're right. I think Texas, even though they lost a few players, I don't think they lost as many as Ohio State. Ohio State had quite a few players drafted. I think they were number one or number two for most players drafted. They had a lot of guys that they had lost. The wide receivers, say what you want about Will Howard, he did win some football games for him. Who's the quarterback at Ohio State? Arch Manning gets the edge in this one, and I think Texas is going to win this game. I think Ohio State's going to take a step back. I'm ready for them to take a step back. Their fans are getting annoying online, so I know you don't like them.
Nope.
This is the year that Ohio State's going to be okay. You got your national title now. Time to reload a little bit, which they do, and I get it. But I like Texas in this game, 100%. I think they just have more players coming back, and Arch Manning is probably better than Quinn Ewers.
Yeah, I think so too. So the second week is going to be the big Oklahoma-Michigan game. The biggest game of the year.
For sure, for us, for sure.
But in that first week, Oklahoma's got a tough one against Illinois State. They play Illinois State.
We're just working out the kinks.
Yeah, Michigan's got New Mexico. So, at least Michigan's playing in an FBS school.
All right, there you go.
Oklahoma has settled in quite nicely into the SEC role of playing teams that are in FCS. And Illinois State, they're the Redbirds. Any worried about them at all?
Listen, sometimes you never know. You never know.
Come on.
I'm excited to see Oklahoma's the running back that they picked up and Mateer from Washington State, the quarterback. I'm excited to see that offense that was just not that good last year. The offense
They were not good.
Not good at all. The defense lost some pieces. Billy Bowman and Danny Stutzman were two of the best players, and those guys got drafted and they're gone. So defensively, I still feel confident. Offensively, there has to be some changes made. So it's going to be, like you said, okay, I get it. It's not an FBS school that they're playing, but still got to work out some kinks. You still got to figure some things out. And Michigan, they're breaking in a new quarterback. So, he's basically a rookie. He's a freshman. He's going to need some reps.
Yeah, but at least, again, we're playing a team that's, FBS. Michigan doesn't play FCS schools. Haven't in a long time. But, Oklahoma's obviously says, hey, we need
that was probably scheduled a long time.
Sure. We'll go with that. At least you guys are coming to play Michigan, or Michigan's coming to play you guys.
There you go.
And then you have that rough game against Temple the week after. But it is at Temple. You guys are going to Temple.
Okay, see, we like to travel. We're not just going to take home games all the time.
Yeah, and then you have a home game against Kent State.
We took the tough game at home against Michigan.
Yeah, right.
We'll go ahead and travel to Temple.
To Temple. Don't hurt yourself there. Michigan does. Michigan plays New Mexico, and then they have. See if it loads here. Central Michigan. So
Okay.
But we're not playing an FCS school.
No.
So I'm gonna hand on that one.
And those are the home games, except for the one that go into Oklahoma, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and then they go to Nebraska.
So you're not traveling anywhere. Okay, so listen, get your wins out of the way. Beat your two.
We'll beat the first three teams.
Oh, here we go. Yep. We'll see about that Oklahoma, but you better win that Nebraska game. I don't care if you lose the first three games. Beat Nebraska. Actually, I do care if you lose one of those games. But Michigan's going to be an interesting team. I still think Michigan and Oklahoma are very similar.
They are. They were very similar last year,
and they're in a similar position that where they're at. They got new coaches. They got offensive issues. Defenses seem to be pretty good. So, man, we'll see if they can rebound.
Literally, we talked about them playing in a bowl game last year, and I think that game would have been 3-0.
It could have been rough.
We did score 19 against Bama.
It's true.
But so did you guys, pretty
much.
True.
Yeah, we both beat Bama.
We both beat Bama.
That's right.
That's right. Michigan and Oklahoma banding together to beat Bama.
Both beat Alabama.
Last year, in the year of 2024,
yep.
Alabama was 0-3 against Michigan and Oklahoma. That's a true statement.
Oh, that is true. Because you're counting the playoff game.
100%.
Which happened, January?
January, like, 1st.
January.
And they won, like, on December 31st. It was great. And then they lost to Oklahoma. 0-3.
0-3. 0-2 versus Michigan and 0-1 versus Oklahoma. We couldn't ask for anything better than that.
Correct. I mean, we could have a national championship, but... All right, it's fun talking about this stuff. NL. We're going to get more into college football schedules as we go. It's fun to kind of look at the early season teams that, the big games coming up. We're getting closer and closer to the NFL schedule release. We talked about it a little bit last time, how the Eagles are anxiously waiting that one because they got a brutal schedule.
Looks rough for them.
But we'll get more into that when we come back. It's it's the off season. Maybe we'll watch the UFL. Probably not.
Okay, Bob Stoops is coaching.
Bob Stoops is coaching one of the teams.
I love Big Game Bob, but I've tried to.
The Rock is part of that ownership group, and I share a birthday with the Rock, so
there's our connection.
Something like that. So, anyways, but yeah, we'll get back to that. We'll talk about all that stuff. We'll come back next week and talk a little bit more college football, and maybe Aaron Rodgers will finally be signed.
Come on now.
Well, until then, I'm Adam.
I'm Tony. Thanks for listening.